This is Extinction Rebellion, South Australia, at the Adelaide Fringe. We're introducing Blinky. Blinky, a koala who's been brought over from Victoria to help us conduct a funeral procession. Blinky is 4.5 meters tall, but he hasn't got up to his full height yet. Extinction Rebellion South Australia is drawing attention to the deaths of billions of animals, birds, reptiles, mammals, insects, yes, and even people who died in climate change fueled tragedies across Australia in the last couple of years. You might remember only 2 years ago, the worst bushfire conditions in Australia ever. Dozens of people lost their lives. 3,000 homes were destroyed. But have we forgotten about that? Because now we've had another climate-fueled disaster, the floods in northern New South Wales and southern Queensland, in which hundreds of homes have been destroyed. Dozens of people have lost their lives. Blinky's just a puppet, driven by some wranglers. But the agony is real. The agony for thousands of other animals. We're Extinction Rebellion because we're rebelling against extinction. Not just or only human extinction, but the extinction of species right across Australia, right across the world. Australia has the unenviable reputation of being the country which has had more animal extinctions than any other. We've lost 34 mammal species in the 200 years since European settlement of this country, and that's just mammals, and that's just the ones we know about. Blinky was put together in Victoria by extinction rebels there and brought across the border to South Australia. This is his first trip interstate. He made a powerful statement in Victoria recently, and he's doing the same thing now in Adelaide for the Festival Fringe. We're here on Rundle Road, which is between two fringe venues. On the left of screen is the Garden of Unearthly Delights, otherwise known as Rundle Park, Gluttony in the Ghana language, Park 13, and on the right of the screen we have Gluttony, the fringe venue, otherwise known as Rymel Park, Merlawira Park 14 of the Adelaide Parklands. Blinky doesn't sound very happy. We're heading down Rundle Road towards the intersection with East Terrace, where there will be a funeral service for many of Blinky's fellow animals. Yes, Blinky, extinction is forever. Walking in front of Blinky are the Red Rebels. Dressed in red to symbolise blood, death. And the other Extinction rebels, the conscientious protectors who are here. Well, we're all dressed in black because this is a funeral procession. Harold's our media spokesperson. Yeah, just take it off and tell us why we're here. What's all this about?
Fellow Earthlings, extinction is forever. Australia has the highest rate and number of mammal species extinctions in the world. 34 since European invasion arrival. There are now 217 endangered species of backboned animals and nearly as many again that are listed as vulnerable to extinction in Australia alone, including the koala behind us. That's about 10% of all Australian fish, frogs, reptiles, birds and mammals. Over 400 out of a total of 4,200 species that are on the ropes and on the skids. Blinky is the best spokes animal here today for all of those 400 plus species. About 3 billion individual vertebrate animals perished in the Black Summer fires of just 2 summers ago. And please consider a livable earth, including for our children and grandchildren, when you vote soon.
Thanks, Harold. In case you've forgotten, the bushfires of only 2 summers ago were not just another season of bushfires, they were the worst of all time. The bushfires of 2 years ago burned 17 million hectares. That is 2.5 times the size of Tasmania. Or to put it another way, 3/4 of the size of Victoria, 17 million hectares. Australia has never seen anything like it before. The floods in just the last few weeks in the northern part of New South Wales and southern Queensland are the worst ever in those districts. Climate-fueled disasters are coming more frequently and getting worse and worse. And what are we doing about it? I'll tell you what we're doing about it. Our government is making it worse. Really. Little known fact. In Australia, the Commonwealth Government spends more on fossil fuel subsidies than it spends on the army. $7.8 billion in fossil fuel subsidies from the Commonwealth Government alone, let alone the subsidies afforded to fossil fuel companies by all of the state governments, including here in South Australia, where $10 million of your taxpayer money has gone for subsidising the cost of a port mainly used by Santos, the biggest fossil fuel company in South Australia. Have to pay credit to Blinky's Wranglers. They're doing a great job there. 3 Extinction rebels pushing at the back, and a very well-educated Blinky Wrangler in the driver's seat. This is a funeral procession heading along Rundle Road in Adelaide's East End. We're heading in between 2 of the festival fringe venues, Gluttony on the right of screen and the Garden of Unearthly Delights on the left of screen. Parks 13 and 14 of the Adelaide Parklands, where the festival fringe is held each year in February and March. But this isn't a comedy show. This isn't a musical, this is a funeral procession. We're holding a procession for the billions of creatures who've died in the last couple of years in climate change fueled emergencies around Australia. Chelsea, why are you here today?
Well, firstly, I've got a couple of kids, 2 kids, and you may look like like a horror show. When I first saw it, I thought it's horrific. But you know what? When you read the IPCC report and you see those koalas burning in the bushfire, and you think about what's going to happen, it's just incredibly devastating. And I think we have a moral responsibility as a society to be good ancestors and to do the right thing by the planet, all living creatures, and for our children and grandchildren as well. That's why I'm here.
Thanks, Chelsea. The sound Blinky's making is unbearable to the Red Rebels. Okay, it's a bit of street theatre. We're dramatising it. Of course we are. But we've tried everything. Well, we haven't tried everything. We're trying just to bring this issue more into people's minds, into their consciousness. Because the climate crisis is getting worse, and our national government is helping to make it worse, pumping billions of dollars of taxpayers' money into subsidies for fossil fuel companies while the planet overheats. I can hear a church bell ringing. Do not ask for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Who said that? It was Hemingway? I don't know. I was going to ask you to speak, but Blinky's making a bit too much noise for us to hear. We'll just wait for Blinky to have his say. Oh, I'm not sure, Harold, who's more photogenic, you or Blinky. We'll try and get you both in the frame. What are we saying? We're coming up to where the fringe venue entries are. You don't have to pay to watch this show.
It's a fantastic show, isn't it?
He's putting on a show.
Good.
I hope the people standing around on the corner of East Terrace and Rundle Road are appreciating it. What have you got to say for us this time, Harold?
Fellow earthlings and friends, extinction is forever. And it's time to end the activities that are causing ecosystems to decline and to fail. Land clearing results in habitat loss, as does logging and wetland drainage. To survive, we have no choice but to fund solutions, not pollution. Our present course with our air, our lands and our seas is the makings of a global ecological train wreck. Please vote for a livable Earth, including for our descendants and our fellow animals and plants.
Beautiful. Well said. What's Dharma doing? Is Dharma trying to reach out to Blinky? Just do a bit of a close-up here. I should mention that this funeral procession is done with the cooperation of the South Australian Police, who've closed Rundle Road for the purpose, also with the cooperation of the Festival Fringe and the Adelaide City Council. You're probably aware that sometimes Extinction Rebellion does actions which result in long road blockages. We challenge authorities. Sometimes some of our members put themselves in a position where they know they will be arrested. That's not happening today. This is a plain and sombre funeral procession. A lead mourner. One of the most stunning statistics that I learned while preparing for this live stream was that there are 150 to 200 species going extinct every day around the world. 150 to 200 species every day. Now obviously that's a guesstimate by scientists. It includes insects, plants and animals. But we are abusing this earth, and something has to give. What's giving, what's being lost are many, many species. We're not rebelling against the extinction of humans, or at least not exclusively that. We're rebelling against extinction of so many, many other species as well. Extinction is forever. When will we wake up? When it's too late? It's never too late. But every day we delay makes the disaster worse. Extinction Rebellion has 3 demands. The first demand is simply tell the truth. Second is phase out fossil fuels, put it beyond politics.
Now
have to pay credit to the wranglers who spent a couple of days learning how to operate Blinky, having had him brought over from Victoria. We're going to pause.
Australia acknowledges the first peoples of all the lands in which we live, love and rebel. Today we rebel on Kaurna country. We offer our respect to elders past and present. As we face the climate crisis, we honour our first custodians, activists for land, water, culture and life. Country has never been ceded. It is no exaggeration to say that business as usual equals death. If we keep going as we are now, if we continue with relentless deforestation, if we remain dependent upon fossil fuels, and if we continue to do nothing about it, then this is the dreadful truth of what we are facing. In the very near future, koalas, the beloved icon of our country, will be extinct. Their habitat all but disappeared. Their birth rates slashed by deforestation and megafires. Millions of species of animals and plants will be gone, never to return. The Great Barrier Reef will die, bleached out of existence. Sea level rises will destroy our coastlines and inundate our river systems, damaging them beyond repair. Islands that are currently home to many people will simply disappear. Our already polluted oceans will become so acidic that their biodiversity will reduce to almost nothing. Extreme weather events like the Black Summer fires and our current devastating floods will be more frequent, more intense. Communities will not have time to recover. Global weather patterns will be so unstable that food growing will become unviable. Millions will starve. The poorest will starve first. We will experience global mass migration, increased conflict, and immeasurable suffering. If you are, at this moment, younger than 60 years old, then know this. This will happen within your lifetime. You will witness all of it, while you and your loved ones will be caught in a desperate battle for survival that you may well lose. Our society is dominated by corporations that have ravished this planet for profit on a massive scale for more than a century now. Fossil fuel giants like BP, ExxonMobil and Santos have captured our governments, luring them into partnerships that render our democracies utterly useless in the face of this crisis. Our governments are controlled by big business and willingly spread their lies and propaganda, bad-mouthing and sidelining our scientists so we fail to heed their warnings. Worst of all, instead of seeing these corporations for the criminally insane monsters they are, We have been deceived into believing that our way of life can go on for forever. Well, Mother Earth has news for us. There is no longer any time left to take this slowly, to take the gradual course of change. We only have a small window of time left to save ourselves and our planet. So we must act now. We must work together to bring our world back from the brink of devastation. We must stop what we are doing and stand together to demand that we find a better way and find it fast. Because there is a way to live that does not threaten our own and all life's existence. Do it for your children, your grandchildren, your partners, your neighbours, your friends, your colleagues, for humanity and for our beloved animals. Do it for this magnificent but beleaguered earth that sustains us all. Join together and rebel against extinction, because extinction is forever. Now, can we all join together in stillness and silence for 1 minute to mourn the millions of deaths, all the suffering and loss caused by climate change and the fossil fuel industry so far.
If you've just joined us, you're watching Extinction Rebellion South Australia funeral procession at the Festival Fringe in Adelaide, where we are marking the deaths of billions of animals in the climate disaster that is befalling the planet. We're on Rundle Street at the corner of East Terrace, right in the heart of the Festival Fringe territory. where hundreds of people are getting ready to go to festival fringe shows and might just see Blinky. Blinky's, what do you call it, animatronic puppet, a symbol of many of the billions of creatures who've died in climate emergencies so far, and how many more will follow. So far this year in Australia, this year, 2022, we've had 22 people die in flood emergencies, climate-fueled flood disaster. This follows on from 33 people who died in the bushfires of 2 summers ago. The bushfires that were worse than any in Australia's history, burning an area 2.5 times the size of Tasmania, 17 million hectares, killing billions of creatures. That was just one summer. One summer. That's our future. That's what our leaders have condemned us to by their insistence on fossil fuels. Blinky's moving into an intersection, corner of Rundle Road and East Terrace in Adelaide's East End, which South Australian Police have closed off for us this evening as we hold this funeral procession. A procession to honour the mammals and other creatures that have already become extinct. Yes, extinction is forever. Blinky will go on to appear elsewhere. But how many of his fellow creatures will be able to do the same? Blinky's leaving us now, followed by the chief mourner and the Red Rebels and the crowd of other mourners in black. As we leave Adelaide's East End. A final word, Harold?
Oh, yeah, right. Hey, fellow lovers of life, extinction is forever. Fossil fuel production and use are major contributors to global warming, heating and ecosystem decline. Pollution of the atmosphere is causing climate changes that drive mega bushfires, and the climate crisis affects all plants and all animals, including us humans. We are not immune. Our Great Barrier Reef and our rivers are dying, and many in power are either muddling or lying. Please let your upcoming votes reflect your love of life.
Thanks, Harold. And that's where we're going to leave this live stream for now in East Terrace, Adelaide's East End, at the heart of the Festival Fringe.